Howdy and good evening, all. Today I want to talk about something that's very, very dear to my heart, and that is Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies and just how it came from being one of the best game modes personally in COD and just a generational game mode overall for games to what I think now is just a shell of its past self, and how it started off perfect but kind of fell into the trap of, I guess, Call of Duty or whoever runs Call of Duty milking it dry and changing things when it was already perfect. And the reason why I'm even talking about this is because recently I started to get back into BO1 Zombies and just feeling the nostalgia from when I was a kid playing it, and now since I'm an adult and I have my own money, I decided to buy the DLC zombie maps like Darius and Varrocked, like the classics of classics. All right, I even got Moon. All right, and playing those games and how well they've aged, not because of just how games are now or the themes of them, but just because of how solid the games were back then. And when I was playing these games, I was having such a blast. And then I'm thinking about like the Call of Duty zombies that are being produced now for more new gen Call of Duty games. And it's making me think like, why did it fall off so hard? And I know exactly where the fall off started, and it was at first a gradual decline, and then it was like a jump off the cliff where it was basically no redemption. And I believe it started around probably past BO3. Because for me personally, and everyone that's kind of like I don't know if you call it Gen Z or people that are like born around the 2000s, but people that play these games know for a fact that Call of Duty Zombies peaked at BO1 and BO2. And some people may say BO3 because of its versatility with like newer things being added to the game. But like the bare bones, just zombies, I think it peaked at like around BO1. All right, and zombies actually got introduced in World at War, which I think was it wasn't the previous Call of Duty game. It was actually a game further back. But that's when it got introduced. And then BO1 rolled around, and that was the second Call of Duty that had zombies in it. And oh god, it's so fire. It is such a good game. And BO2 is good too. I don't think it lived up to the quality like BO1 did, especially with its DLCs. Except Origins. I think BO2 Origins freaking slaps. All right, and like probably another DLC. I haven't really played them. But starting from then to like BO1, BO2, where it's like popping off, where now people immediately go on to BO2 or BO1 just specifically to play zombies because the multiplayer is full of hackers and just an old game where the servers suck. And then you roll around to BO3, which it's like still good zombies, but it's tapering off a little bit. It's like, all right, try to find your footing. It's still good quality, but make sure it's not any worse than this. And then I believe past BO3, zombies I think was completely forgotten about, and they try to reintroduce it with new themes and new stuff, like with I think it was Cold War or whatever, where it just adds in too many boss zombies and too many features where it feels like multiplayer rather than a PvE or actual zombies game mode. Crap like that, and they focus on stories and having different types of zombies and adding all these detailed, intricate things to a game that was just, or game mode, sorry, that fix it. and they tried fixing something that was just standard and basic and added too much detail. And I think it flopped really hard. And the most recent Call of Duty Zombies game that I played personally is BO7. And I believe they started finding their footing back to BO7 again. Sure, they still kept the crap from multiplayer where you have shields and you have all of these different types of perks and you have like special abilities. I think all that's gay. They should take that out. But I think they kind of reverted back to having an actually good map and not really having a story, but having an Easter egg that's interesting and having guns that are good, you know? Like I think like BO7 Zombies, which is the most recent one that actually people start talking about, and from what I know, um people got BO7 specifically for the zombies, and that's kind of what I did for like a month or two, then I was just done with it. That's kind of where they started having their footing again, where they started realizing where they should just dial it down so much, and I believe they did that a little bit. Now, I can't personally say because the only zombies games that I played is BO3, 2, 1, World at War, and BO7. Anything between BO3 and BO7, I have no clue about. I just gave up on Call of Duty because it sucked a bag of dicks, all right? But it's just like not even a property, but the game mode had so much love and care. And even people now, when they talk about Call of Duty Zombies, they talk about the stuff like from BO1 or BO3 even. Those maps like Diaries, which is, I think, the best map ever created in Call of Duty Zombies history. And just the community around it, especially on PC where you can make custom maps, which honestly made it pop off even more, which I think most of it was in World at War. And then it kind of delved into like BO2 and 3 and whatnot. But I think World at War peaked when it come to custom maps. But this is just ramblings from a guy that kind of realized that Call of Duty Zombies was a game mode that was really forsaken by Treyarch and the developers that make Call of Duty. And that with the like best Call of Duty Zombies maps and games being more than 10 years old and the servers crashing constantly and trying to play it again, it's just rough. And I have such tender love and care about Call of Duty Zombies because I grew up watching old YouTubers going to high rounds or playing custom World at War zombie maps and like getting all these perks and going to high rounds and just watching those videos as a kid was such a blast. And I know that games funnel along and trends are different. Like now we're in the Battle Royale age. But back then, with Call of Duty Zombies and how it was perfect. And if they would have done anything, they should have just added different maps to the newer Call of Duties instead of adding more things like more perks or more complicated Easter eggs, or having different types of zombies, or having like 6 different types of zombie bosses and crap like that, just making it too complicated. So that's all I really want to talk about is just when you come down to it, it's just that Call of Duty Zombies used to be so good, and now it's just a shell of its former self where people kind of poo-poo on it with the newer Call of Duties. And with the older ones, it's kind of hard to play them, especially with the servers being as old as they are. So, just ramblings of some old fart saying that it used to be better back in the day, which for Call of Duty Zombies, it was. Hope anybody here watching feels the same way as me. And if you don't, or even if you do, let me know, comment, and we could always chat or rant about it. That's it for today, guys. See y'all later.